All right, welcome to Comedy Sucks Podcast. This is episode 7. The podcast awakens. This is John Olson along with Drake Strong. We're here in the Norwegian dungeon today doing our podcast.
You mean your basement?
Yes, the Norwegian dungeon. Yeah, that's what I just said. That's it. If Norwegians had dungeons, they would look like this. You know, with like Cub stuff on the wall and.
I have one question. Does
TVs.
that mean if we had a drug dog come down here for no reason at all, just drug dog come down here, would it react?
Well, my daughter is 17 and her room is right behind you, so that's a possibility.
You're trying to blame the kid.
I don't see any other reason why not.
Sir, we'd like to take a polygraph.
No, I shouldn't.
Alright.
Oh, man. We are in the midst of possibly one of the craziest times to be a comedian. Not personally.
Other than the 80s.
Yeah, that's true. But not personally so much, because I've come to find out that I am quite a boring person when it comes to anything, controversial. You know, with the exception of, smoking the devil's lettuce every once in a while.
Don't lie to them, John. Don't lie.
It's pretty tame. The reason why I figured we could do this is, to talk about this stuff. You know, some names have been brought up, some pretty popular comedians, recently have gotten themselves into, some hot water. First and foremost, obviously, is, Bill Cosby.
You're like, first and foremost, Bill Cosby.
You know, I could have started with somebody else, but he's been headlining so long that he can open for once. You know what I mean?
I was at work the other day, and somehow comedy came up. The dude said, "You know my favorite clean comics? Bill Cosby." And he said, "He's still doing clean." I'm like, not so good right now.
No, and he's not
and
that clean.
The dude is kind of defending him. No, the only person who knows whether he did or not is between him and God. Like, dude, really?
Him, God.
If it was only one person, okay, yeah, no, more
right.
likely she's lying. He's someone that famous, okay, there's a good chance she's lying. How many came out?
156.
Seriously, that fucking much?
156 women. Well, women now, but they were probably girls then. That's the sad thing.
Yeah, is it true that he never once said, "I did not do that"?
Yes.
Everyone else throughout history.
Well, even OJ said he didn't do it.
Richard Nixon's OJ, Bill Clinton, they all denied it.
Right.
And he won't even...
Okay, but...
He won't even deny it.
That's true.
He's admitted to, actually buying the drugs to give to at least one of the first women that came out with it. He admitted to... He bought drugs to intently give to her.
That is true. But here's the deal. That's what, you said, no, he didn't deny it. He also didn't admit it. But yet, yeah, those three people denied what they did. Obviously. And OJ, obviously, big liar. Bill Clinton, obviously, big liar. Right? So, I mean, you gotta kind of give Bill Cosby the benefit of the doubt. If there was 2, 3 women that are coming out but when they are coming out of the woodwork, and it's 150 some, you did it. You have been drugging women for 30 years.
And especially when he's such love, it's one thing no one wants to believe. But it's one thing that for a while is like, okay, you did it.
And the thing, it's not going to go away. It's going to stay here. I don't know if he thinks it's going to be swept under the rug or what else, but it's definitely not going anywhere. We're going to be talking about this, or it's going to be talked about for a long time to come.
The rest as far as comedy's a subject and he comes up, it's going to be talked about. It's not...
Absolutely. It's kind of like the, you kind of put it, Ted Bundy with serial killing, I guess. O.J. Simpson with, buck knives. I don't know. Like, that's the kind of stuff, buck knives and isotoner gloves, so to speak. But, yeah, no, I just don't understand, what I'm trying to figure out with the whole scenario is, like, okay, all these women are coming forward now. All it takes one is to crack open the door and then, the door gets broke down. But the question I have is, why weren't these people talking about this, 25, 30 years ago? Because,
who's really going to ever believe them?
Well,
not the fact that it's, in a lot of cases, hard for, like, hard to get people to believe, he raped me, just because it's just one of the cases where it's sometimes hard to prove because the evidence behind it, to where a lot of times it goes, instead of being there's no evidence at the time when they look to see if they did it, it's going off of people's words in their story.
Right.
It makes it somewhat of a hard case to believe because it's such an extreme one where it's like you want to believe them, you don't want to call them a fucking liar because it could be a horrible event. But at the same time, since it's hard to, in a lot of cases, hard to get the actual evidence, it makes it hard to, like, okay, we want to believe you. We think we should. And, yeah, that, and not only fact, they're accusing Bill fucking Cosby. Think back just a few years back before the controversy came out. What was it? He had a nickname of America's Dad. He was, like, one of the best stand-up comedians ever, of doing clean comedy. He was one of the best. Had one of the longest TV, I don't know if the longest TV show, one of the most
one
popular.
Of the longest.
I think, most popular TV shows. Almost everyone loved Bill Cosby. But, like, I think there was very few people who hated Bill Cosby before it all came out.
Well, that's true, but obviously, how much did they really love him? Because he obviously had to date rape people. So
yeah, it just had. That's a different issue, but it just makes that, like, oh yeah, he did it. It's like, no one's gonna believe you. Like, yeah, right. But like, oh yeah, he murdered me. What? You're accusing someone that no one thinks could do it. He ran up and stabbed you. You mean the guy in the wheelchair? He can't run.
That's a good point. No, I get it. I understand it. I just think it blows my mind, to be perfectly honest with you. It just, like...
There's a lot of cases where the person who was raped, it never comes out 2 years later because they feel the shame and the fact they don't think people will believe them. That makes them want to hide it in shame. And
it makes it worse now because...
That's why in most cases, not only against Bill, but in rape cases in general, it doesn't come out right away, is because of all that. Then they fear that repercussions, if they do come out and people don't believe them, what's going to happen to them? Especially with someone as powerful as Bill fucking Cosby.
That's true. And that's most likely what happened. Is because of that. Like, people aren't going to come out and say, Bill Cosby did this. Because people, in general, won't believe it. Now, if you came out and said, the sexual predator that lived down the street from me raped me.
Or even another celebrity. What's the 2.5 Men guy? The Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen raped me.
I did not know who Charlie Sheen is.
I forgot for a second. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about him. So if women came out saying he raped them, they believe that more than
it would.
Bill
absolutely,
Cosby.
absolutely, 100%. I agree with that. If someone came out and said Charlie Sheen raped me, absolutely, it's going to be believable. If you came out and said Charlie Sheen raped me,
it only had to be one person.
I would believe it. Number one, because I don't know if it'd be rape with you, but I have
just because you want him. Don't put that on me.
I know for a fact it wouldn't be rape with you. Just saying, because you're a money hungry bitch, And that's what you want to go for. You just want the star power. You want to say, I fuck Charlie Sheen. Me and Brie Olson, we fuck Charlie Sheen. Together.
No, I'm good. I'm okay. I like to see my 30s. At least.
Okay, first of all, he has HIV, not AIDS. Okay? It's barely detectable. You'll be fine. You'll be 30.
I thought we were talking about controversy.
We are.
Exactly.
I just want to throw that out there.
Nipper.
Another person that's been in the headlines, comedian, so to speak, has, this one kind of takes a cake. I don't know whether to call him a comedian anymore or a gangster rapper. Well, not quite a gangster rapper, but he lives the life of a gangster rapper, but he tells jokes. Somewhat. We're talking about Cat Williams right now. Cat,
I actually like Cat. Especially his early stuff. I think it's one of his first film specials. I think it's called not 9 Lives, but it was filmed in Cincinnati. He's wearing a plaid shirt, a coat, and I just know it's actually one of on the upper part of my favorite stand-up specials in general. I'd say it's actually up there. It's not, maybe not top 10, but it's definitely up there. One of it. I forget. I think it's just Cat Williams live. I think that's what it is.
The first time I've seen Cat Williams was in Friday After Next. He played a little pimp.
Yeah.
In Friday After Next. I thought he was hilarious in that.
I didn't care for it, although I didn't really care for those movies. So.
Right. I watched a couple of his specials. He's a funny guy. He's got stage presence. He's got charisma. He's got everything you need to go a long way in this business. What he has now that he doesn't need is Suge Knight in his corner. Having Suge Knight as your comedy manager is like, it's like having, it's or any type of manager. It's like having Charles Manson being your counselor. Essentially, that's the way I would see it. But, I guess, I don't know. The Cat, and the thing with Cat is, he has a downward spiral into pretty much, gangster lifestyle, so to speak. He was arrested recently, a couple weeks back for fighting a 17-year-old kid or whatever. And then today, as of today, 4/29 of 2016, Cat Williams was arrested for throwing a salt shaker at a manager in a restaurant.
Well, of course. Why would you throw a pepper shaker? That's stupid.
And I quote.
Please don't.
Cat got arrested late Wednesday night in Atlanta's seafood restaurant Spondivits after he got into it with staff, according to cops. We're told Cat's party walked into the restaurant and decided to seat themselves instead of waiting for a host. Cat soon followed and started arguing with the manager over the seating situation. Cat allegedly settled matters by grabbing a salt shaker, chucking it at the manager, and smashing him in the face. Cops say his lip was bleeding and Cat had fled when they arrived. Officers found Williams a little bit later and arrested him for battery. He posted bond and was released around 12:30 a.m. Okay, first of all, let's kind of go back to this. Cat's party walked to the restaurant and decided to see themselves. That's how I know that he's gone way above his head. How I don't know about you, Drake. I go on the road. My entourage is me, essentially. Okay? Me and me only. Very rarely am I in with anybody else. Okay? So, although I'm not anything special by any means, I don't understand why he would need a party. Yes, he's a comedian. Yes, people would probably know him on the street. I understand. But he arrived later, number one, which means he wasn't even with the people that they were with, right? I mean, that were sitting down already. So, obviously safety wasn't an issue. So, the dude went in there and caused trouble. There are rules. Please wait to be seated. There are rules. Can you wait? I don't want to wait. I'm a famous comedian. I don't want to wait. Well, I'm sorry. Can you wait until the table opens up? Because that one right there is for a party of 15 that called 2 weeks ago that are having a birthday party for their 7-year-old kid. What makes you more important than them? I'm not saying that that's actually what happened, but...
I was going to say, was all that in there? Because then I missed that.
No, I'm just saying that you are not any more important than the next person. I don't care if you're Cat Williams. I don't care if you're Matt Williams. I don't care if you're Paul Williams. I don't know who that is.
What about Robin Williams?
I don't know. No, he's not any more important either.
You had to pause on that one.
I know. Well, I started thinking, like, would I do... Okay, I would probably make a table for Robin Williams. Right? I probably would. I don't want him getting hung up anywhere.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry. Anyways. Alright, so for...
You are a bad person.
I know.
What if you're a bad person? You are a bad person.
So anyway, that's the first thing that kind of got me. Okay, that seat was probably for somebody else, and they took it. And that's probably why the manager said something. People reserve tables all the time. That's the way it is. And instead of handling it like a human being, he handles it like an asshole.
Like a customer.
Okay, okay, let's just say this. I don't know what Spondivits is, and it says it's a seafood restaurant in Atlanta, okay? I would assume it's a pretty classy place. That would be my assumption. I could be wrong, okay? But when you go into a classy place, you need classy behavior. You don't walk into Tiffany's in New York City with a Popeye's chicken state of mind. Just saying. So, there's that right there. So he grabs a salt shaker and slams it into the manager's face. And then the dude leaves. Which means he knew he was getting in trouble. He knew what he did was wrong. He knew his actions were going to get, his actions were going to have consequences. The consequences in his mind was, oh shit, I'm going to get arrested again for the 4th time. TMZ is going to find all this shit, and they're going to throw it all over the place, and everyone's going to know that I cannot fight a battle without injuring a teenager or a man with a salt shaker.
Well, he's a small man, so he's a tiny man. He's a tiny man.
I understand he's a tiny man, but
tiny man on drugs. He's a tiny man on drugs.
I
think that's his main thing is
I would
not
assume
only
he's on
the
drugs.
fame going to his head, which he's famous for a while before a lot of this came out, but I think part of it is that drugs are going to his head too, and that's what's causing most of the controversy.
Okay, so
it's not all him. It's
right, and that's true. But like, what? Obviously, he must be on some good shit because like I said, I tend to,
I'm not saying just pot. Other drugs.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I agree with that.
I see some pictures of him like he's like, yeah, there's some kind of drug involved.
True. Okay, originally he looked like a very young, very short, kind of ugly prince. By the way, rest in peace, Prince. Now he looks like Red Fox with a wig. Actually, looks kind of more like Gollum. That's what he looks more like Gollum. That's what I would say. And then you go from Cat Williams to our boy. You've seen this guy live, right? A couple times? Ralphie May?
Yeah.
Ralphie's a funny dude.
Oh, he is.
He's a very funny guy. Ralphie likes to open his mouth and insert foot. That's what he likes to do. And the thing is with that is that you can't do it all the time. Yeah, okay. Ralphie's more of a controversial comedian anyway.
Yeah, that's a no. If people get offended at Ralphie May by now, it's like when in music when Eminem on Dre's album he said a fucked up line and people got mad at him like, oh, he's acting up again. It's Eminem's. It's someone that we know will saying shit again, and you're freaking out. You know he does this.
Okay, well here's
That's
the
what
question.
He does.
Yes, and he's playing a part, right? He's playing a part. The situation that I'm talking about right now is it was what
a month ago?
Just about a month ago. There was a show that Ralphie had scheduled in Bemidji, Minnesota.
Sure.
Okay. I think it's kind of close around a native reservation. Okay. Apparently they got some audio or something that he had in 2007, that he had said that he was, that he was blasting Native Americans on it. And basically, said, and I quote, I'm not saying this, Ralphie May said this, okay? He said, fuck a bunch of Indians and dry up, you bunch of alcoholics. Now the dude did post an apology video, that we're gonna play here in just a second. Basically, he stated that, that it was part of a joke and everything else, but, after listening to this, I'm not quite sure what the joke actually was, but maybe we can, give a listen here and see what you think.
Loading.
Apparently, my comedy was taken out of context, and when I was talking about Native Americans, it was over-edited, illegally used and recorded, and they left out the punch. They left out the punchline, which is the whole reason that I'm upset with Indians is the fact that Denzel Wool's Big Goodfellas out for the Oscar in 1992. It's such a ludicrous thing that no one, if you heard it in your full context, would think it's anything but a joke. That's all it was. It's a joke. But in their editing, they use my voice to inflict pain on people, innocent people. And for that, I'm sorry. You didn't deserve this. Not from me, not from this face, not from this point of view, not this accent. You didn't deserve it. And I'm sorry. My material was stolen, and then used on an album, and then put out by somebody else, edited again. And all the while, I had no idea anything was happening. If the city of...
Alright. So.
That did look weird. Well, I think, once again, the joke itself, you said it wasn't as funny when you said the punchline there, but at the same time, we're not hearing it the way you would say. If we would, because you ever try to explain one of your jokes to somebody, and then you tell them the punchline, that joke that when you say it on stage, you actually get laughs, but then when you explain to somebody, like, oh yeah, they only know part of it, they hear you say part of it, then you say the punchline, it's not as funny. It's because you're not hearing it in the context. You're not hearing with the proper setup. Because
that's true. That is true. But
that, and I don't think It was racist. I think people it's just one thing with comedy in general where people are freaking out over anything people say controversial, especially Ralphie May. If you watch Too Big to Ignore special and think, oh, he's clearly a racist, he's actually speaking out in that special. It's kind of, I think, an hour and a half long. He's actually speaking out against like racism and stuff in that special. And he said, he wants to try to, turn around to the next generation, and he says how he's a southern white boy from Tennessee, lived in Texas and all this, and how, like, he got along with Hispanics and black people and all that, because he was from the South, even that the racists are stupid, and he tells a story about how he's insulted a woman in the crowd who hates Mexicans, and they're legal and you go back, whatever, and he talked about how he had a permit to put her down, geniusly, the way he did it. You watch that special and you're like, oh, clearly he's a racist. Like, no. Yeah, he's going to say controversial things, but I think that's just people being sensitive. Like, don't say nothing bad. Don't say no stereotype, nothing bad whatsoever about any group at all.
Alright. Okay, so,
that's my view.
If this thing came out before he played the Hard Rock here in Sioux City, what do you think would have been the reaction?
I think it shows that would happen.
Show still would happen.
Yeah.
Either way. So, you're saying that because it was near an Indian reservation, right? That the reason why this is, that he did this, that they canceled everything was because it was near, and they were just basically trying to, suffice the situation to keep it under wraps, so to speak. Because it wasn't him that canceled the show.
Yeah, the show got canceled.
The show got canceled on him. So, I mean, either way you look at it, like, you're right. The whole joke wasn't said on the video here or anywhere else. It's just bits and pieces.
Yeah.
And, you can't take bits and pieces of a joke and just kind of throw it out there and expect people to, to laugh at it. Then again, I can't really tell a joke and expect people to laugh at it. So it's absolutely fine. What gets me is, he says, the punchline of the joke was, I'm just mad at Indian people because Dances with Wolves bested Goodfellas in 1992. Okay. Alright. Yeah.
I think it was just a stupid funny joke. That's.
Yeah, but yeah, again, it probably has to be said in its entirety because me, personally, I was like, okay, it just sounded like something somebody would have said to try to apologize for the situation and, get it all done. But because that was an absolute true fact, Dances with Wolves did beat Goodfellas for Best Picture in 1992. So,
I feel like that apology was it was half sincere because, especially once again, if you watch some of the specials and see interviews, he actually seems like he's actually more kind of person. He likes to hang out with his fans afterwards. He likes, he got pictures. He was at the Hard Rock for multiple hours afterwards, gambling with fans. And so I think he actually is, more of a kind-hearted person in general, but then will still use comedy as, don't be a sensitive little bitch. And that's...
So, do you think for how much controversy that this whole situation had with Ralphie May, do you think it was warranted?
What was warranted, though?
Do you think the controversy was warranted?
No, people, they're gonna find controversy anyway, so. That's what I say. Cause, shit, people got, uproar against Jerry Seinfeld. Remember the whole college thing where, some college wrote an open letter that was published in the Huffington Post, an open letter to Jerry Seinfeld about comedy. an open letter to Jerry Seinfeld about...
What's the deal with getting open letters? Yeah, and see, and right now, a lot of comedians don't want to do colleges anymore.
Yes, Bill Maher had a good bit on his show. He had a bit on that where Jerry Seinfeld, what was it? Jerry Seinfeld, Larry the Cable Guy, it was, Chris Rock. Pretty much all are saying the same thing. They don't want to work colleges. They're too sensitive now.
Yep. And that's sad because colleges are a good source of money for comedians, man. I mean, a good source. I mean, that's how comedians make their livings now, is colleges, cruise ships, and, well, road comics.
Yeah.
Colleges, cruise ships, and, benefits and
gigs.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, but the bigger gigs, and to not want to participate in a big money event like a college would pay. I mean, I know some colleges pay in the mid thousands. I mean, we're not talking tens of thousands, but we're talking like $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 for an hour's worth of work. And if you're not taking that money, there's something wrong.
There's something wrong with colleges because there are too many. They would probably get protested. Bill Maher got protested.
And well, Bill Maher gets protested walking down the street in L.A., dude.
Yeah, well, yeah, but colleges are a lot more liberal in thought. Well, he's very liberal in thought, and yet he still gets.
And the thing, that's another thing.
It's not like someone who's on the more right wing, quote unquote, goes one, because they will get protested because ideas are different. Ban it, but when even people who are on their side of the issue get protested, it's like.
It's funny that you brought up Bill Maher because, again, we were talking about controversy in comedy right now. And Bill kind of had a little controversy about a month back, too.
What's this about?
He lit up a marijuana cigarette.
Oh, yeah. On his show?
On his show. On national broadcast on HBO Network.
We're including that in the category of controversy?
No, I don't think it's controversial, but everyone else thought it was. I thought it was a brilliant move. Why not? It's decriminalized. I mean, the most he would have got was a ticket. It's in LA, and he might have a card.
Depends on who pulled him over.
That's true.
If it's some kind of federal department, they can still take it.
Right.
Federal.
But most likely, he probably has a medical card for it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. The point was that he lit it up and he passed it to was it Rick Ross? I think it was Rick Ross. He passed it to Rick Ross, but
the rapper Rick Ross, not Freeway Rick Ross.
Yeah, not Freeway.
Where he stole his name from.
No, but he passed it to him, so that's where all the hoopla came out of, but. Bill has always been kind of the guy who's gonna, where there's smoke, there's fire with Bill Maher.
Yeah.
And that's always cool. I've always liked the cat, and I like his comedy style. I really like the fact that he doesn't give a shit what he says. That's really cool. But when he sparked...
And he's very pro the First Amendment. Because he's even defended Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah.
Because people were trying we should ban his show, ban this, and he's defending him on that.
Yeah, and Rush is a bag of dicks. You know what I mean?
Bill was still defending him
on the First Amendment, just like
you can't silence and ban people.
No,
because you disagree with their opinion. You must protest their opinion with your opinion.
Absolutely, and see that's the point, because like right now, we're kind of having a conversation on the status of comedy, controversy, whatever, and so on. And there might be people out there that don't agree with what me and you say. I would assume I have folks in my household right now that don't agree with anything I say. So I can assume that there's people out there, the one or two or three people that we have listened to this, might not agree with everything that we said today. They
might agree with it until you apply to something they don't want to be heard.
Right.
Because a lot of the free speech thing, they apply to the right wing of, making fun of religion or whatever. They'll be okay with that. You can make fun of Jesus, whatever. They'll be okay with that on the left. But then once you make fun of something on the left, whether it be race, gender, whatever, all of a sudden, no, free speech doesn't matter.
And that's all we're doing is saying that free speech does matter. And if there isn't free speech, no one's paying for it. So that's for sure. That's absolutely for sure. I just think that, when it comes to this, that, and the other thing, all this stuff that's kind of happening today in this world, I don't know, left, right, down the middle, it doesn't really matter. All that really matters is that, you have to, get along and smoke a joint. Yeah. You have to smoke a joint. Why don't we do that?
Yeah, let's admit this onto what we're about to post to the internet.
That's
hey,
all
John
right.
Olson, why did you get fired from your job? Oh, we had a UA yesterday. It was random. Surprise.
No.
I don't think... they tell me it was a randomly selected one. I don't believe them. Because they said, hey, good podcast last night. Pistons Cup.
Well, good thing this podcast won't hit air for at least another 48 hours, so I think I'll be alright.
You think?
I think. No, but man, good thing we have editing in some of this stuff. I might add, you could take the whole last part of what I set out.
No, leave it in.
Well, you can say that the smoke and joint thing is fine, but I trailed off there for a little bit, so you can, you can take that out.
Make it. So you're giving me the responsibility of trying to edit this down and make you sound good?
There's no amount of editing in this thing that's going to make me sound good.
Actually, there is. I cut out every part where you're talking.
Then you're a complete one-sided conversation. It's not going to work out.
It sounds better than you talking.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess you could be right.
John Olson the whole time messing on his phone.
I'm not. Listen, man. We wanted to do something and get some, sound effects and music and so on and so forth. So I figured that we would end it just like we started it. All right. So we have a new thing. We have a new segment to our shows when people call in. And we have a guy who called in. His name is Giovanni. Giovanni, you there?
Hey, guys. Yeah, hey. I called in, I've been having a fucking kind of a bad day, and I figured I'd call in and fucking vent to you,
What's going on, Giovanni? What's happening today?
For fuck's sake. Christ, there's no fucking decency in this fucking world anymore, I'm standing there this morning, in my fucking window, trying to rub one out, and a fucking kid throws a rock through my window and hits me off the fucking cocks.
And play some Blood Brothers, baby. Alright, this has been Comedy SUX Podcast. This is John Olson.
I'm Drake Strong.
And we will see you later.